Brachos Daf Yud Zayin is primarily an Agadata Blat. The Gemara continues the list of tefillos that various Talmidei Chachamim said at the end of their Shemona Esrei. The Gemara then adds brachos that they used to say. The Gemara adds various different sayings that they used to say. The Gemara brings a number of other things that they said. The Gemara explains a number of psukim. And then the Gemara goes into a little bit of halacha at the end of the parak, discussing whether a chassan is allowed to say Shema on the night of his wedding, or if it's considered to be showing off. That ends the parak. Then the Mishnah begins in the next parak, which discusses the halacha of an onein, somebody who lost a very close relative and has not yet managed to complete the burial as far as his obligation in Shema and other mitzvahs. So let's continue. Let us begin the daf by continuing the list of tefillos that were said. The Gemara is up to Rav Safra. He said, there should be peace in the heavenly hosts. The heavenly hosts need to be peaceful. This refers to the patron angel of each of the nations, because if there are fights between the malachim, the sar shel ummah, then there will be wars between the nations here on earth. Should also be peace b'pamai shel mata, between the legions of the chachamim here on earth, ubein hatalmidim oiskim b'sarasecha, between the students who study your Torah, bein oiskim lishma, bein oiskim shel lishma. All those, whether they are studying Torah for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons, as long as it's not that they are studying in order to be able to make each other look bad. Anybody who is learning the Torah for the wrong reasons should come to learn for the right reasons. Rav Alexandri used to say after Shemona Esrei, he Ratzoin, that you should give us a corner filled with light, and we should not be in a corner filled with blackness and darkness, and our hearts should not be sad, and our eyes should not be dark. Some say this is what Rav Hamnuna used to say. Rav Alexandri said something else. He said, Rabbeinu Olam, Master of the world, it is clear before you that our desire is to do only your will, and who is holding us back? It is the yeast in the dough. Yeast in the dough, Rashi says, is a reference to the Yetzer Hara, who turns everything sour, just like yeast turns the dough sour. Also, what's holding us back, continues the tefillah, is shibud malchiyos. The restrictions is placed upon us by the local governments. So it should be your will, you should save us from their hands, and we should return to you and to do your laws, fulfill your mitzvahs with a complete heart. Rava used to say as follows, and this is what we say at the end of our vidoy on Yom Kippur. The Gemara will say that. Rava said, Elokai, my God, until I was born, I was not worthy of being born. Now that I have been created, I am no better than before I was. I am dirt and dust in my lifetime, certainly after my death. Here I am before you, as a vessel filled with shame and embarrassment. You may be your will, Kadosh Baruch Hu, that I sin no more. And that which I have sinned, you should remove in your infinite peace, in your infinite mercy, but not through suffering and bad sicknesses. This, the Gemara says, is called Vidu of Hamnuna Zuti, and is what we say on Yom Kippur. Mar, the son of Ravina, when he used to finish his Shemona Esrei, he said what we say, Elekai Netzar L'Shonim Eira, Usvasai Midamar Mirma, V'lemakal Nafshi Sidin, V'nafshi Kalfar Kolti Eb, Sach Libi B'Sor Yasecha, V'mitzvah Yasecha Tirlef Nafshi, V'tatz Leinu Mi Pega Ra, Mi Yitzah Hara, Mi Isha Ra. That we don't say. We call Rois HaMisrag Shais Lavoi Ba'ilam, V'chal HaCheshem Alei Ra, Me'ira Hafar Atzosam, and Kalkal Machashav Voisam, Yi Ratzain Imre Fi, V'hegen Libi, L'fanecha, Hashem Tzuri V'gayali. So that's what we say, and we all know what that means. Rav Sheshes, what did he say? Ki Havi Yosef B'Ta'anisa Basar D'Matzli Amrachi. Rav Sheshes, when he was fasting, he would say the following things after the fast was over. He would say, it's clear to Kadosh Baruch Hu that in the days of the Beis Hamikdash, if a person sinned, he could bring a carbon. And the parts of the carbon that he brought on the Mizbeach were the fats and the blood. And that caused the Zeveros to be removed, kapara. But now, there's no more Beis Hamikdash, but I fasted, and I lost some fats, and I lost some blood. That should be as if I brought it before you on the Mizbeach, and may you accept me. Rav Yochanan, when he finished learning the Sefer Eov, which ended off saying that Eov, after all his troubles, he ended up with a good name, so Rav Yochanan was to say as follows, everybody in the end is going to pass from the world and die, and every animal is going to end up slaughtered. Bottom line, we're all going to the same place. We're all ending up having to die. It is Ashrei Mi Shegadol B'Torah. Praiseworthy is he who is great in the Torah. V'amalei B'Torah, and he works hard on Torah. V'yisei nachas ruach le'yotzer, and he brings kaviyachol. He brings pleasantness to his Creator. V'gadol b'shem tov, and he grows with a good name. V'niftar b'shem tov minayim, and he leaves this world with a good name, similar to Eov. About him, Shlomo Melech said, "Tov shemen mishemen tov." Tov shem mishemen tov. A name is better than good oil. Yom hamavos miyom hivoldo. The day of the death is better than the day of the birth. The day of the birth, you don't know how things are going to go. You have no reputation. It could go either way. But the day of the death, if you made it, so you made it. Your life was fulfilling and accomplishing. The Gemara has concluded the section of the tefillos that people added to the end of their Shemona Esrei. The Gemara now quotes a number of sayings that people used to say. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Meir used to say as follows: work hard with all your heart and all your soul in order to know me, he's speaking the voice of Hashem, and to be constantly at the doors of my study halls. Keep my Torah in your heart. In front of my eyes have my fear. Watch your mouth from all sins, purify and sanctify yourself from all guilt and avera, and I will be with you in every place that you are. The Rabbanon of Yavne used to say the following things: I am a creation, and my friends are a creation, referring to those who worked, who did not spend time in the Beis Medrash. My work, my job is in the city. Their job is in the field, so it's easier for me. I get up in the morning in order to go to work. They get up in the morning in order to go to their work. Just like they don't want to do my job, I don't want to do their job. Maybe you'll say they don't want to do my job because their study skills are not as good as mine, and therefore they'll be able to accomplish less, but it's not true. Because we know that everybody is only expected to do as much as he can, as long as he's l'shem shemayim. So, we could have been the same. I consider myself lucky to have the portion that I have. Luck is not the word, it's Siyata D'Shmaya. Abai used to say as follows: a person should always be very wise in pursuing fear of heaven. He should answer softly, speak softly, and he should be able to remove people's anger with his soft words. He should increase peace in the world, with his brothers, with his relatives, with every person that he meets, even a guy in the street, in order that he should be beloved above, and he should be nice down below, and he should be accepted by all people. He said about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai that nobody ever greeted him before he greeted them. Even a guy in the street, he always made sure that he was the first one to extend a greeting. Now the Gemara says, Rava used to say, the point of wisdom, meaning the Torah study, is tshuva u'maisim tovim, returning to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and doing good deeds. A person should not learn psukim, learn Gemara, and then kick his father's customs and his mother and his teacher and be offensive to them and anybody who's greater than him, and be rude and be disrespectful about those who are smarter than him or are more numerous than he is. Like it says, Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem, the first of all wisdoms is the fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shekol Tov L'chol Seichel Tov L'chol Yisayim, which is great wisdom for those who do it. So the drasha is Le'osim Lo Nemar. It doesn't say those who do it, it says Le'oseihem, that it makes them. And this is for those who do it Lishma. Anybody who performs these mitzvos and learns Torah Shalol Lishma, says the Gemara, it's preferable about him that he not have been born. Mefarshim explain, and it appears in Gemara elsewhere. We said before that doing it for the wrong reasons is okay. Why over here do we say he's better off not having been born? The Gemara says it depends what the wrong reason is. If the wrong reason is because he wants to get reward, that's not the end of the world. But if the wrong reason is because he wants to make his other friends, his friends and his acquaintances look bad and feel bad, then he's using the Torah as a weapon. That is the worst destruction that can be. Better off for him to not have been born. Or says Rav used to say, this world is not like the next world. The next world, there is no eating, there's no drinking, there's no reproducing, there's no business, there's no jealousy, there's no hatred, there's no competition. There's only tzaddikim sitting with crowns upon their heads, and they are absorbing the glow of the Shekhinah. They are, pleasure is the word that's used, but it's a far too humanistic term. The glow of the Shekhinah, like it says, Vayechazu Asakim, and they saw Hashem. Vayechlu vayishtu. They're seeing Kaviyachal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu was in place of any eating or drinking. So there was none of that, and there will be none of that in Shemayim. Now the Gemara says the promise that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes to women is greater than the promise that He makes to men, because women, the pasuk quotes, are referred to as Nashim Sha'ananois Koimna Shemana Kali Banois Boitchois Hazena Imrasi. So women are called Sha'ananois and Boitchois. That's a level higher than the men. Men didn't get two compliments like that. Reb Chia says the following thing. Rav said to Reb Chia, women, what is their schar? What is their ticket into Olam Haba? They don't learn Torah. They're not obligated in the mitzvah of Limud Torah, although they can. But what is their ticket into Shemayim? So the Gemara says, by assisting their sons learning psukim, the young ones, in shul, and by assisting their husbands learn Gemara, and by waiting for the husbands to return. Rashi says that means that they aren't makban and they let them travel to a different city in order to be able to study Torah. Now the Gemara shifts to discuss what a number of different yeshivas, what the scholars used to say to each other when they broke up at the end of the Zman and they left and went back to their homes. What was it that they said to each other to leave each other? What was their parting words? So the Gemara says in the yeshiva of Rav Ami they said as follows. And some say this is what they said in the yeshiva of Rav Chanina. They blessed each other and they said, may you find everything in this world that you need, and may your end be in the next world, and may your hope and your accomplishment be for generation after generation. May your heart always work hard in wisdom. May your mouth always speak wisdoms. And may your tongue always feel prayerful songs that it should whisper. May your eyelids be straight. And your eyes lit, illuminated with the light of Torah. And may your face shine like the shine of the sky. May your lips always pronounce intelligent things. May your intestines rejoice from the straight ways. May your footsteps run to be able to hear the ancient words, the words of He who is of ancient times and days. The Talmid Chachamim of the Yeshiva of Reb Chizda used to say as follows, and some say this is what they said in the Yeshiva of Reb Shmuel Bar Nachmani. Alufeinu Misubalim, a pasuk in Tehillim, and the drush was as follows: Alufeinu, our experts, our generals, our leaders, b'Torah, leaders in Torah. Misubalim means they carried heavy weights. They're carrying the heavy weights of the mitzvahs. They are loaded up with many, many mitzvahs. That's Machlokes Rav and Shmuel, what these words mean. One says like that, and the other one says, Alufeinu, our leaders, our Torah scholars in Torah and mitzvahs. And what are they loaded up with? Suffering. The pasuk they were quoting, it continues, and it says, Ein peretz ve'ein yotzes ve'ein tzevacha berchav v'seinu. So the Gemara says the Rabbanan in this yeshiva continued explaining this verse to each other as they parted and used each term as a bracha. Ein peretz means that none of our group should end up like the group of David HaMelech that had Achitophel. Ein yotzes means none of our group should be like the group of Shaul that had Daig HaDaimi. Ein tzvacha, none of our group should be like the group of Elisha that had Gechazi. Berchav V'seinu, that we should not have any of our group, any of our Talmid Chachamim or our students that should burn his soup in public. Burn his soup in public is a euphemism, which means that if you make any mistakes and it's a very negative thing, it should not be exposed on the world's scene. It should not be visible to the masses. It shouldn't create a chilul. Now the Gemara quotes the pasuk that says as follows: Shimu Elai Abire Leiv Harachokim Mitzedakah. Listen to me, those who are strong of heart, who are far from tzedakah. Who is this referring to? And what is this tzedakah that they're far from? Rav and Shmuel, and some say it's Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Eliezer, say as follows. It's a machlokes between them. So the first opinion says that it's referring to tzaddikim, and it says as follows: the far from tzedakah means they're far from needing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's charity in order to support them, because the entire world is supported through charity, but these are supported through their own zechusim, as opposed to the rest of the world that needs Hashem's charity because they don't deserve to be fed and supported. The other approach is that the entire world is supported in the schus of tzaddikim, but they aren't even supported in their own schus because they are left with almost nothing. Like Rabbi Yehuda says, every day there's a voice, an echo that comes out of Har Sinai, Har Chorev, and it says the entire world is supported in the merit of Chanina Bani, my son of Chanina ben Daisa, and he himself doesn't even need a small measure of carob from week to week. That's all he needs in the entire week. The Gemara says this entire approach goes against Rabbi Yehuda's approach, because Rabbi Yehuda said, who are the strong of heart? It refers to the fools of Goivoi, a nation which did not convert. Rabbi Yosef says they didn't convert, although all the things that they saw, because we're not accepting them as converts because they were foolish. The Gemara says, Rav Ashi said, similarly, the people of the town of Machasia are abiralev, strong of heart, or a little bit hoary of heart, because they saw the tremendous gathering twice a year of Talmidei Chachamim to come learn halacha before Pesach and before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and it didn't move them, they didn't convert. The Gemara now refers to the Mishnah where we had the halacha that a chassan does not have to say Shema on the night of the wedding. The Mishnah had the Tanakama seem to hold that if he wants to, he could, and Rav Shimon ben Gamliel said that he should not, even if he wants to. So the Gemara understands that the Machlokes is that Rav Shimon ben Gamliel holds that you look like you're showing off. You're not allowed to show off. If you don't have to do something, you shouldn't do extra. And the Chachamim aren't concerned for that. So the Gemara says, but we see that these two opinions are flipped in the case of working on Erev Tisha B'Av. So the halacha is that there are different minhagim, different customs in different areas, whether you work on an Erev Tisha B'Av or not. And it says that Talmidei Chachamim do not wherever they are. So the Gemara says that Rav Shimon ben Gamliel said, a Talmid Chacham, every person should not work. They should be like Talmidei Chachamim. And the Tana Kama said, no, you shouldn't, because you look like you're showing off. You're trying to pretend that you're one of the Chachamim, whether you are or you aren't. So we have contradictions in both opinions as to whether we are concerned that people look like a show-off or they don't look like a show-off. So the one's first answer is, you're right, it's a mistake. Flip one of the opinions. We'll flip the second Shita. Then the Gemara says, I'll tell you really it's not a contradiction. It's possible to hold, in the case of Tisha B'Av, that you should work, because you look like you're showing off if you do not work, because everybody else is working. But in the case of Shema, you're the only chassan in town. Everybody else is saying Shema, so you'll also say Shema. It's not noticeable. You're not being different than everyone else. You're just being different than what you could have been. We could also say it the other way. It's possible that in the case of Tisha B'Av, you should not work, and we're not afraid of showing off. But Shema, we are afraid of showing off, because Shema is something that you are actively doing. You are actively not saying Shema. There's no other explanation for why you're not saying Shema. But in the case of Tisha B'Av, if a person doesn't work, it doesn't necessarily mean that he thinks he's a Talmid Chacham. It could just be that he doesn't have a job. So people might not see, and they will not think that he's showing off. They'll just think that he doesn't have a job. That's the end of the parak. The Gemara now starts the next Mishnah, the next parak and the next Mishnah, which is the halacha of somebody who lost a close relative and he's busy with the burial now. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah says he doesn't have to say Shema, Shemona Esrei, Tefillin, or any of the mitzvahs. Those who carry the coffin at the funeral, so those who are in line to carry it, there was a line of who had the opportunity, they don't have to say Shema. Those who carry it already are chayav to say Shema, even though they may still be called upon to carry it again. As far as the shura, the people who stand in line to be menachim, the mourners, those that are in the inside row, do not say Shema, and those that are on the outside row do say Shema. Now the Gemara has a contradiction. Over here we seem to say that this is only if the cadaver, the body, is lying in front of you. That's the words that the Mishnah uses, meaning it's right near you, you're in the same house. The Gemara brings that there's a Mishnah that says that you should be eating in a different house, you should not eat in front of the mace. And then that Mishnah continues to list off all the things that you do not have to do, including a lot of the mitzvahs, which seems to imply that even if the mace is not in front of you, you don't have to do the mitzvahs. So the Gemara answers that anytime it's on you to conduct the kavura, the burial, it's considered in front of you. That's what the Mishnah said when it said in front of you. It doesn't mean in the same room. It means where it's upon you to bury the person.